Welcome back to the Steep Stuff Podcast. I'm your host, James Lariello, and today I'm so excited to welcome Ben Robinson on for a chat. Ben, by way of Northeast Pennsylvania, came on the pod fresh off of his win at the Grindstone 50K just a few weeks back. In this episode, we talk about a lot of stuff. Ben's lived a lot of lives in the sport, but he's also a very influential and important figure, not just in his running community, but in the running community as a whole. Ben's a race director, an athlete. He gives back to his community through volunteering on different boards, and he's just very active, which I can really appreciate and admire. Ben and I got deep into the sky running scene across the United States, or actually really across the world, and why we could use something like that in the United States. We talked about the Pennsylvania running scene, which is kind of neat. Talked about the technicality, the Northeast, just why the Northeast is kind of so important. We got into his racing experience and what he's been really enjoying as of late. Ben's been all over the world racing, but we talked about some of his favorite races. This past year, he competed in Mount Marathon, and we got deep into that, his experience there and why he'll go back. Did talk a lot about Grindstone and his win there. And yeah, it was just a really exciting episode. Talked a lot about Ben's background and his future in the sport and what he wants to do with it. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy this episode. Really want to thank Ben for coming on. Very important member of the community and someone I admire. So without further ado, Ben Robinson.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Ben Robinson, welcome to the Steep Stuff Podcast. How's it going, man?
Nice. Thank you very much. It's going well. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. I'm so excited to have a conversation. Like, first off, I'm just a giant fan of East Coast trail running. Like, I love the East Coast. I'm originally from the East Coast, so it's got a special place in my heart. So anytime I can have a East Coast trail runner on the podcast, it's always special. So thanks for coming on, dude. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. It's definitely a special place. It's so unique with the terrain. Every spot along the East Coast is different for their terrain. So yeah, I'm excited to talk to you about East Coast.
Yeah, let's do it, dude. Let's dive in. So maybe for the audience that might not be familiar with you, maybe give me like the 5-minute elevator pitch, where you're from, because I know you went to school pretty close in Lock Haven. So give me the college spiel as well about your running in college, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm from a little town called Tunkhannock. Has about 2,000 people. It's Northeast Pennsylvania. I started running about 14 years old, ninth grade. I played football, basketball, baseball, and was like, I want to try something else. So I tried running, and I really loved the people, but I was really bad at it. And it just worked out that I stuck with it, and I just really fell in love with it. So did high school cross country track. Like you said, I went to Lock Haven University, where I continued to run. And on the weekends, I would go out and run, generally by myself, my long runs in the woods. And coach, I don't think he loved that idea because I was basically track and cross country, but I did it and it was so much fun. But I really fell in love with trail running after college. I moved to Park City, Utah, which is just insane, and the most perfect place to start really liking the sport. And after that, I lived in Boulder, Colorado for a bit with Andy Wacker and
oh my God, you lived with Andy too? I feel like everybody in this sport or that's been on a podcast has been a roommate of Andy's at one point. That's crazy.
I've heard that. Yes, it was awesome, and yeah, Andy does have a lot of people in and out of there. So There was a lot of good people, especially like Matt, my friend Matt. I took Matt Daniels's room when he moved out. So we just missed each other there. But yeah, I moved out to Park City to start a business to help people post collegiately train for like it was like a group to train for like a next Olympic cycle. And that didn't work out. So I moved back home and then I tried to start two more businesses and they both didn't work out. I love trying new things and seeing what works. And so that's kind of a little bit about me. I just love trying new things and sticking my neck out there.
Dude, I love it. How did you find yourself in Boulder then? Was it more so business wise or was it chasing the trails?
So yeah, I was just I was whenever I find myself bored, I like trying, like, I just think of things to do. So I was really bored one day. So I reached out to my friend, Sam, who lived in Minnesota, and said, do you want to try to start a business? So we tried to start a business in Boulder, and it was called the No Sweat Box. We wanted to start a subscription box for people that wanted to use it for like a pre-race, just like subscription box. And so we had like the products and the box made. It just didn't get off the ground. So yeah, I moved to Boulder to try to start a business, and instead I did door-to-door sales out there, and that didn't really pan out. So again moved back home, and it was just such a fun experience though for the time that I was there. I just loved it out there.
Dude, I love that, man. I respect anyone that takes swings. Like I've myself started a few businesses or tried to start a few businesses that didn't work in my
Yeah.
20s and 30s. And like it's interesting. Like I think you get to learn there's a lot of like things you'll never learn in a day job doing stuff like
Mhm.
that. And even things you don't learn in school. Like they don't teach you in school about LLCs, C Corps, S Corps, like a lot of like structure, like business jargon and all different kinds of things. Like and
Yeah.
it's like such good information that you'll take away with you that you can apply to just life and grittiness as well. I think there's a good crossover between starting something, following through with it, trying to make it work, and like running, doing the same thing over and over and over again with running, which is kind of funny.
Totally. Yeah, I like I've spoken at a couple different high school things, and like the two things that I'd like tell them to take away is like try new things in your 20s, like that's the decade to do it. And like that failure's okay. Like I'm totally okay if I start a business and it doesn't work out. I like go all in on it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Especially like can translate to running too. You can go all in on a training block, and the race doesn't go as planned, but you tweak it and then try to get make sure the next one goes a little better.
Yeah. It's such a good metaphor for life. You know, dude, and that's funny you say that because, like, I think about this all the time. I come across folks that are almost getting their own way because they're so afraid to fail. And it's
Yep.
like, oh man, like you gotta do it. And then once you do it, and if you do fail, like you'll realize like it's okay. Like the world keeps spinning and you can go on and continue to do other things. Yeah, I don't know. I experienced that with a lot of folks for some reason today. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know either, but yeah, I just think that we gotta get the message out, try new things, have fun, and see what works.
Take big
But
swings. Hell yeah.
exactly. Yep. That's awesome.
All right, let's talk about Pennsylvania in general. So you ended up back in PA, which is so I grew up in Pennsylvania. I lived there until I was in seventh grade. I'm actually from Bucks County, so not too far, not too
Nice.
far from you. We didn't have like the Poconos. We're like on the other side of the Poconos, if you will, like closer to Philly.
Yeah.
Dude, what a special place! Like I loved the Northeast. Like I was just there for a good month and a half this summer, and I'll go back next summer to go race just because I think there's so much there on the short trail scene that is just
Yes.
absolutely slept on. Yeah, maybe talk about that. Like what is so special about it that really is special for you?
Totally. Yeah, you're totally right. So Central PA has really like Central PA specifically has really gone all in on like this short trail PA. It's called the Roxylvania series. And it's mostly Central PA, but it's spread out east, west, and there's everything. You could do a 5K series, you could do a 50K series and anything in between. And they've really like at the last 3 to 5 years have really honed in on the short trail specific. And if anyone wants to try anything on the East Coast, try to get into the Heiner Trail Challenge. It sells out like 1,000 people in like 2 days, and it's like insane. It's just such a cool atmosphere, start to finish. But I really think that it probably started with that Heiner race because um, Craig Fleming is the race director behind that, and he's really branched out to make all of these short trail. Like 25K is like the sweet spot, but you can have everything from a smooth, easy 25K to I put on a race here where it's 25K and 4,700 feet gain. So it's like everything from easy to a little bit more difficult that you can find in PA. So it's just a really diverse spot, I feel like, that not many people think about.
So cool. Dude, I was lurking your Instagram before this episode and I found this Boulder Beast 25K that's like super looked very technical from some of the photos. I was like, "Oh, that's my jam." Like, what is that all
Mhm.
about? We'll talk about your race as well, the Miller Mountain, but
Yeah.
what is this Boulder Beast?
Totally, yeah. So that's part of that series. That's I there's a 25K and 25 mile. I did the 25 mile last year, and oddly enough, I wanted to do it so bad because in college our cross country team would volunteer at the top of the boulder field and just cheer people on all day. So I was like so intrigued to like do it one day. So I'm happy I had the chance. And yeah, there's this like mile long section, like 5 miles into the course, where it's just a straight boulder field within the forest. It like you come out of the woods and you're just engulfed in this massive boulder field where the boulders are like as big as your car, and you just have to hop and climb up to the top of the mountain. And it's just like insane how technical some of this stuff is. And like this year, like there's like rattlesnakes in the rocks sometimes. There could be bees. There's like my friend got stung like 4 times this year, so it's just insane. Like that course specifically is so fun. Like I did it last year and I was having ankle issues, and I twisted my ankle like 5 times during the race, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just need to get to the finish line.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's an insane course, and yeah, anything from super smooth to super bouldery technical we have in PA.
I love that. So tell me about your race. So you're a race director. It's the Miller Mountain Trail Challenge. Is that the race that you put on?
I do, yeah. My friend Kenny and I, yeah, Miller Mountain is in my hometown here. We do two races. We do a 5 mile with 2,000 feet elevation gain, and then a 25K with 4,700. Then it's super unique for the area because I mean you're out in Colorado, so you have massive mountains. But for PA, like Miller goes from bottom to top. It's like a 1,500 foot gain climb. And you do 4 loops. It's like a 4 leaf clover for the 25K. And a lot of it's pretty like easy footing, but there are some pretty technical, like especially if it's wet, you have to go like through a creek sometimes. The 5 mile is super cool because like average gain per mile is 400 feet. So like it's super steep. And it's just I feel like super unique, especially to the northeast side of Pennsylvania. But yeah, we've done it 2 years now. That's such a fun race to put on. We have a nice cookout afterwards, and I do 3 races, my friends and I, but that one is super special.
Talk about the races that you do. I'm so curious. Like, how do you like race directing? Like, I feel like that's such a special way to be able to give back to the sport. Like, you're obviously an athlete in the sport. You've done so much in it. You've had such a long resume, but like, I don't know. I always think about like, what else can you do? Some people start podcasts like me.
Hmm.
Some people start races, and I think the races
Yep.
are pretty dope. So, talk about that.
Yeah. Sure. I've like putting on events is so exciting to me. Like my first race I ever put on was when I was 13. I did a Christmas cheer mile in town where I put Christmas lights in this little area, and you had to do a mile around it. So ever since then, I've just been intrigued with putting on races. And so we talked about Miller. I also put on a 10 mile road race in the city about 45 minutes away called the Wyoming Valley Run. We have about a thousand people that come out every year. That one's definitely that one's very charity. Well, all of the races are charity oriented. That one though, we raised the most money. We raised $10,000 each year for charities, and that one is definitely very road. It brings out a lot of people, fast people, and then I also do a mile road race in town here that my friend Kenny and I just took over this year. And it's been going on for 30 years. So that one is super special. It's like such a neat, tight knit part of the community. So, but yeah, I love it. It's just like you said, there's a lot of hard work that goes into it, like putting everything together, making it all happen. But at the end of the day, it's just so worth it to see people smiling coming across the finish line, hearing people's stories. Like I don't have my own stories to tell that day, but just hearing everybody's stories. Um, it's just a cool way, like you said, to give back. And all the races have a charity orient to them. So raising money for charity and letting people have a special day is really fun.
I love that. It's such a good way to give back to the sport. I got to ask you this, like, if this is just maybe too much of an inside baseball question, but I'm just so curious because I know in Colorado it's such a pain in the neck to put on a race because
Oh.
the permitting is insane. How is it in Pennsylvania? Like, did they put up a lot of barriers to entry, or is it like not so bad with the permitting?
Where we are, it's great because Miller Mountain was just purchased to be a state forest. Like it was 3 years ago in November, so it's coming up on 3 years. And so I met with the forestry people right after it was purchased, and we started a good relationship. So since there's not a lot of like it's inundated, it was so nice to just get in there first thing. So we haven't had any issues, thankfully. There is a part of the 25K that goes on private land. And oh my gosh, I'm so lucky because like it's such a nice tight-knit community where I'm from that like they're just like, yeah, we want people to be using the land. We might as well have a race there.
That's amazing.
Um, so we have a aid station set up there and they always come out and support people. So I'm just very fortunate that we've had an easy time getting that stuff set up.
That's so cool. Do you think you'll put any more races on? Like, do you? The reason I ask is because you've raced all over the world, right? You've done Meet the Minotaur. You've seen a lot of sky racing and stuff. It's just like I think that there's a lot of opportunities specifically, and I think Pennsylvania terrain in some ways can be pretty gnarly. I think there's a lot of like opportunities for cool races or continue to create cool races to exhibit more of like what the state has to offer and just the Northeast in general.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely. In terms of building up, maybe I can add one or two. So one of the couple businesses that I did not work at or it didn't work at was in 2019 at the end of the year, I was going to start a PA mountain series
Ooh.
where it was at different ski resorts, and I had the places picked out, and then 2020 happened and the events didn't happen and nothing happened in 2020 or really 2021 for the beginning. So um, then I very fortunately have the job that I have today. So I love the three races that I put on, maybe one more, but we'll see what the schedule looks like. But you're right, there's just so many opportunities, especially in Northeast PA. There's such cool terrain, but there's not like a lot of trail running in Northeast PA, whereas in Central PA, like, oh my gosh, there's so many cool stuff out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Zach always used to talk about that frozen snot race that he used to do.
Yeah, that's a cool, and that's right near Lock Haven too, and it's insane. It's in the middle of January. It's a half marathon with like 6,000 feet. It just goes up, up, down, up, down. It's like I haven't done that one yet, but it seems so fun.
It looks horrible. Yeah, I love
Yeah, yeah,
it. what
exactly.
What are your thoughts on, especially because you just and we'll talk about Grindstone in a minute. What are your thoughts, especially as a race director now, with like, for instance, like the Cirque Series just came to town, right? They're in New Hampshire and in Vermont now, and who knows where else.
Hmm.
You have UTMB they have Grindstone now, and it seems like there might be more races getting bought. Do you think it's good for the sport, or do you think it's like, what do you think as a race director? Do you think it's kind of cool because it puts more shine on the Northeast trail scene?
That's such a good question. And there's probably so many differing opinions on this, but I personally love it. Like the Cirque series, they're doing such cool things. That was my first trail race that I ever did, Snowbird Cirque in 2016.
Oh wow.
It was called the Discrete Peak Series back then. And Julian has just really grown that to something special. But I love it because like it's such a good like intro to the sport. Not like I mean those courses are hard, don't get me wrong, but they have a lot of media, so a lot of more people hear about it for both UTMB and Cirque. So I think that it brings more attention to the sport, it grows the sport, and then like the grassroots races, like I feel like as a race director, they're thriving, at least in PA. I can't speak to everywhere in the United States, but I think that it's just bringing out a new set of people that haven't been in the sport. So I personally love it. I love seeing like, oh my gosh, the side story, like this year at Miller Mountain, people drove from Chicago the day before, which is like a 13-hour drive just to do their first trail race in Northeast PA at Miller Mountain. And I'm like, it's just so cool. Like people drove that far for their first trail race. I don't know how they found it, but they did.
That's
And
amazing.
like it just gets new people into the sport. So from that perspective, I love it. Like it helps out the brands, it helps out the professional athletes, it helps the people that are just getting into it. So I personally think it's a net benefit.
Yeah, same. I mean, honestly, like I won't speak as much to UTMB just because I don't do as many UTMB races, but like my
Yeah.
jam is the Cirque series. Like Julian, I call a friend now. Steve White, I call a friend. Like what they're putting on, and I don't want to give too much love to Tom Hooper, but I'm just kidding.
That's right.
I
Yeah,
love Tom
Tom.
Hooper. But no, in all seriousness, like just what they're able to do, like dude, I hope they put on a bunch more in the Northeast. Like I love Northeast racing, and like
Yeah.
I'll be at Cannon next year. I raced Killington this past summer, and I'll go back to that.
Cool.
And I hope there's more. I really just want more in the Northeast because I don't know, it's just fun. It's different. Like I don't know. I train in the mountains in Colorado all the time, obviously, and it's like it's always the same. You go out to the Mountain West, and for the most part, a lot of it's similar. But you go out to the Northeast, and it's a completely different style. It's technical. It's hard. It's steeper in some ways. It's just
Mhm.
different. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I love it. Those two courses up in the Northeast there seemed I can't wait. I really want to get out there this year. I was dealing with a sprained ankle for the first one. I think it was Killington. But man, those pictures looked insane. And that part of the Northeast, like the boulders and the roots are so huge, and it's just so different than really anything. But I agree. Let's build it out. If they want to do one in PA, I'll help them out. That would be
Cool.
amazing.
Oh, dude, we'll put that out into the world. I like to hear
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
All right, let's talk Grindstone. You just recently removed from the Grindstone 50K where you took the win and got an automatic qualifier into OCC for next year. Dude, how does it feel? Like, it's a really not an easy race. Yeah, talk about it. Talk about the course, talk about the race itself, how it went for you, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Sure. I'm thrilled that I had the chance to go back. So I competed in 2023 when it was the Golden Ticket race for Western States. And it was the week that I had to get my rabies vaccine because I had a pit bull bite my face.
What?
So I got the rabies vaccine. I went anyways, and I'm like, I know that this is going to be hard, but I'm going to try anyways. And it shouldn't have been a surprise, but it went very poorly. So I had to drop out at like mile 35. and because the rabies vaccine just kicked my butt. So I was just like, man, these trails are so cool for the East Coast. I really wanted to get back and get to the finish line. So this year I signed up for the 50K. It's a really cool course. Those trails are super unique to the East Coast because they're really not technical and they're really flowy. I felt like they were like made for like mountain biking or something. They were just really flowy and smooth. And so I was so pumped to get down there. I was feeling so good this training block. I kind of tweaked my training a little bit these past 6 months to try something new. And yeah, it just felt so good to get to the finish line and kind of get my redemption from a couple years ago.
Dude, I love it. So will you be going back to OCC or will you kind of go up to CCC? I know you've raced both, haven't you?
I have. That's such
Yeah.
a good question because I actually didn't realize until this last couple days that I could go back up to CCC. Um, I'm like pretty intrigued to do OCC again because the last time I did it was 2018. So I keep thinking like I'd love to race my 24-year-old self to see how I compared to back then. And I don't know, it's such a fun course. The 50K distance it's such a sweet spot. And I feel like I want to go have a really good experience. The 100K CCC was amazing. I feel like I'm in more of a preparation mode for OCC this time around though.
I like it. And I think that, and not to continue to go back and, put shine on the Northeast, but I think that and this is just me personally, I think in
Mhm.
the Northeast, it's easier to get ready for a race like that than it is in almost like where I am in the Colorado. And people are going to drop
Mm.
their jaws for saying that. But I think the level of technicality, the way the trails are built are different in the Northeast. Like I think it's like, for instance, like if you were to train somewhere in like New Hampshire, like I think it's such a better like training ground for like a UTMB than Colorado would be, in my opinion. I don't know. It's my
Yeah.
thought on it, but
Yeah, I mean, you see David Sinclair moved back. Eric LaPuma's doing awesome stuff up there. Dan Kurtz. I don't know Dan as much, but I know he's doing some awesome stuff. But yeah, you could still get 3 to 4 thousand foot climbs up there. Like I did the Pemi Loop up in New Hampshire. It's like a 30 mile loop with 11,000 feet, which is like a great simulation for something like OCC. So yeah, the training's here and like Miller Mountain, like I have a trail that is on there that I used for Mount Marathon, and it's a average of 43% gain or 43% grade. So like yeah, there's a lot of steep stuff. The only thing is the I mean you guys have a great benefit with altitude out there obviously,
a little bit, yeah.
which is awesome. But you're right, like yeah, if I do some training camps up in New Hampshire or in the Adirondacks, like I could certainly be ready for those longer climbs.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's interesting, man. It's that ultimate trade off. I talk to athletes about this all the time. Specifically,
Hmm.
Dan and I have chatted about this on more than one occasion, where it's like it depends on the type of races you like to do. Like if you're racing high altitude stuff, then it makes sense to live at
Hmm.
altitude. But if you're like, for instance, it's just the power generation is different. Like you can generate so much more power living at sea level than maybe I can at 7,000 or 8,000 feet,
Hmm.
specifically just because of the air. It's just a completely different kind of calculus there. So yeah, it's an interesting trade off, but yeah.
Yeah.
Let's I want to talk to you about Mount Marathon and going up to what was it this year, the 97th running or something like that.
97th, yeah.
How was it, man? How was your experience out there?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. My wife and I were up there for 10 days. And from start to finish, it was just amazing. Like top three, like that area, like the Alaska mountain range, top three like mountain ranges that I've seen for sure. They had like a lot of snow this year compared to normal, so we tried to get up to some of the higher like hikes and runs that we wanted to do, and we weren't able to. Like I really wanted to do the Cirque Series race, but I like got 3/4 of the way up, and the ridge like you needed like mountaineering gear. It was
Oh, at
insane.
Alaska?
Yeah. Yep.
That's
But yeah, so the whole experience was amazing. The race though, like, oh my gosh, it's so unique compared to anything that I've done, even though like any of the sky racing that I've done. It was just like those those people that do that race, it is so specific. Like well, 3,000 foot in 1 mile up, 3,000 foot down. Um I felt like I felt like I performed well, but there's just like the very specific details that I didn't do well that like if you lived and trained there, like that's where you get the like a good advantage. Like I don't know, Max King has crushed it. Coming not like not living at in Alaska, but he's really figured it out. I'd love to do it a couple times because I feel like there's some things that you could change to really do well there.
it's a hard race to nail. Did you take the routes or the cliffs?
Cliffs, up and down. Did you do it?
No, no, I just know a lot about it. I'm
Yeah,
planning on doing it maybe next year. We'll see.
you totally should. But yeah, the cliffs I felt like was the way to go. I practiced all the different routes, and that one just seemed the. I mean, it's the most popular, but also like I felt like it was the fastest. And after I tested all the ways, um, the routes was unique, but I thought it was just a little slower. Uh, Yeah, because I was racing. Oh, Patty O'Leary was in it this year, and he and I have raced like 5 times, and it's always fun because we trade off with every race that we do. We're like he's beaten me more than I have beaten him, but we always are back and forth. So he took the routes, I took the cliffs, and I was just ahead of him right afterwards. So I was like, I think I made the right choice there.
Shout out to Patty. He's someone I got to get on the podcast. I gotta talk to Patty O'Leary one of these days.
Totally.
Yeah, he's an interesting cat.
Yeah.
So experience wise, so you definitely would go back. I'd love to hear it.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's funny for a 5K. It is a very difficult race to nail, and definitely impossible to nail your first go. Like it's either you
Yeah.
have to have stupid insane fitness to just kind of overshadow any like small parts that you might overlook, or it's
Mhm.
like you have to dedicate so much to it, which has got to be difficult.
Totally. Yeah. Especially like, I mean, the uphill I feel like is very like fitness oriented. Like you could not fake, but you could get away if you have a lot of fitness. But the downhill, I feel like you could really lose or gain a ton of time on people. I love downhill. Like I feel like I'm probably better at downhill than uphill. And like they had a big snowfield this year, which was really fun. Because Patty beat me to the top, and he was like a little timid on the snowfield, and like I flew down the snowfield, and I passed him right at the end of the snowfield, and like there's such it's such a diverse downhill because this year there was the snowfield, then there was the really fun scree. It's like I don't know, 50 to 5 degree slopes. And so it's the scree field that you'd really have to just commit to. And then there's like these couple waterfalls, like 5 to 6 foot drops. There's like two of those, and then you go down the cliff section. And like if you that's where I think I can make up the most time is on that lower section of the downhill. And yeah. Yeah, if you, I could see if you're not ready for that, you could really make up or decline a little bit on that.
Interesting. I don't know how Norris does it, man.
I know.
He's superhuman. It's crazy.
Yep.
It's funny, and it's like only specific courses that like it's like that, and then really technical stuff. He's just so dirty at. He's so good.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I
It
gotta get.
sure is. Yeah, and then like my friend Taylor who lives up he's from Alaska. He has the best downhill like I think well it's the best downhill ever from top to finish. He's like under 10 minutes and
That's
he's just like
crazy.
it's insane. He just like fully commits. He said when he broke the record that year, he like did like two separate somersaults. I'm like, you have to be so committed to do that. Like I
No
did not
fear.
commit myself that much.
No fear. And hopefully he's got good health insurance, dude. Holy shit.
Insane. Yeah.
That was so crazy. Yeah, I hope to get in. I'm going to try to get in next year. We'll see. I don't know. We've been throwing around the idea of the Alaska trip for next year. We're supposed to do it this year, and I got injured and was like, all right, well, I don't want to sit in a car because we were going to drive up. We were going to take the dogs and like make a long trip out of it. But that's a long undertaking. It's like
It's a lot of driving.
It's a lot of driving. You got to be fully committed. So
Yep.
yeah, we'll
I
see.
will say it's totally worth it though. If you get in, definitely make the trip.
Yeah, it's definitely on the list. All right,
Yeah.
let's shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about your time in the sport and some of the cool things that like you've done. Like you were a professional athlete for Hoka for a nice chunk of time, and then now you're in this free agency period. I got to ask you, what do you like better? What do you prefer? Like, do you like the pressure being off you now, or do you prefer to be traveling around the world doing the pro Hoka thing?
That's such a good question. So yeah, I was with them for 2021 and 2022. Um, Man, I absolutely loved my time with Hoka. I'm like so thankful for it. I love the brand. I still love the shoes. I still run in Hokas, but um I don't think I did well with the pressure. I think that that was more of a, even since college, I think that I've underperformed when the pressure was high. So like I loved what I got to do. I helped with Project Carbon X 2. I got to, eat, have dinner with the two founders out in France at CCC, and like, man, those experiences I wouldn't take away for anything, but I do think that I didn't perform as well as I could have with the pressure. So I think that I've done so much better since and before. I just think that those 2 years I probably underperformed because of personal pressures that I put on myself. And like I didn't expect to ever win a UTMB series race, and I just had went down there. I had zero pressure. I'm like, this is the lead up to my next race, and I'm just like, whatever happens, happens. So, um, I think that I've certainly done a little better without the pressure, but very fortunate for those 2 years. I wouldn't trade that at all.
That's interesting, man. It's funny like how it's the games we play with ourselves to put the pressure on ourselves for to
Mhm.
want to perform and do our best on race day. But it's just interesting the way the mind works with that stuff.
Totally.
Yeah, no, and I don't know. It's I appreciate you being candid and talking about it. I was very curious about how you kind of reconciled it. So what are you taking it from now? Like, what are you doing next? Is it Grindstone onto Javelina, or like what's the plan?
Definitely, yeah. So yeah, I'm doing Javelina 100 at the end of October, and uh, I know that I'm not gonna be like at the front of this race. I'm just like I want this as a nice challenge because like I feel like my specialty is 25K and 50K, and I really want to finish 100 miles, and I feel like Javelina is a fun atmosphere to get it done. It's my wife can have a pretty chill like crewing. I'm gonna have a pacer. So like it's more of a like get the job done, like get the event done, but have fun doing it. Not no pressure whatsoever. But after that, I just want to stick to that 25, 50K distance because it's just like those are the races that I feel like I do best at and I have the most fun with, especially training wise, with having a full-time job and being on local boards and the races. And I just, I feel like that's where I'm happiest.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Like you have a full-time job, you have a demanding job. Like finance is not like, I get it. It's a lot of work, dude. How
Hmm.
do you balance being a husband, working full-time, being a race director. So like a lot of projects, being on boards and then training at a high level. Like how do you do it all?
That's thank you. Yeah, like I said earlier, like I don't do well when I'm bored. So I need to like always be doing something, I feel like. So I just love it. I don't give myself much praise, but I feel like time management is something that I'm pretty good at and I feel like is super important. So yeah, I wake up in the morning, I get my coaching in, I go on my run, do work, And then the evening is spending time with my wife and doing other extracurriculars that I am involved with, whether it's boards or getting race stuff done. So I just split up my day like that. I feel like I have a pretty systematic day where it's pretty much that every day where I do the same stuff, but I don't know. I love it. We all have 24 hours. I love to do I feel like I couldn't do the same thing every day. We were talking about it a little bit. I love having different things throughout the day to keep me busy and my mind active in different ways.
How does training work for you? Do you work with a coach or are you self-coached?
Yeah, good question. The last year and a half, 2 years. This is the first time in my 16, 17 years of running where I'm coaching myself. I was with David Roche for about 5 years. I loved my time with him. He's such a good coach and incredible person. And I was just like, I just love to try after 15 or however many years it was. I was like, I have all this thoughts of knowledge. I'm like, you know what, why don't I try it and see what I could do by myself? And it's nice because with a lot of stuff going on, I could like tweak it to fit what I have in my personal life. Yeah, not working with a coach right now. It's my first time ever, so it's been fun.
Dude, it's interesting, right? I go back and forth. Like I was
Hmm.
self-coached all last year, and then finally, in the last like 2 months, decided to go get a coach again.
Hmm.
I like waffle back and forth with it. I think it all depends. Like I think for me, it's the workouts. Like for those like really because Cirque Series races are like basically a track meet in the mountains, right? So it's like I have to continuously figure out the workouts, and it's like all right, well, I need someone to help me with like VO2 blocks and then tempo blocks and just stuff like that. That I'm just kind of a dum dum at. So it definitely having a coach definitely helps for stuff like that.
No way. No, it's you're right though. It's so nice having somebody to put it on not cruise control, but do the work for you in that sense. And I feel like you definitely have to yourself included, like you're a disciplined guy, so it's you definitely have to have like a disciplined mentality to get the work in. And yeah, and discipline and attention to detail. So it's been a fun experiment. I don't know if I will or I won't go back with a coach. I think that it's great to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, but for now it's fun to try new stuff.
Yeah, I agree with. No, I think every person, in my opinion, should at some point in time try and do it themselves. And the reason is because it is. I think the best part about it is, at least for me, is if you're not like feeling like you can move your week around. And I think like move stuff around as long as you get everything you need to get done in the week, you can kind of play around with it to see what fits and works for you. Whereas like with a coach, there's obviously much more structure and stuff like that. And it's, I don't know, like if there's a day I don't feel like doing something, I'll move it around, but then I'll feel bad for moving it around. And I'm like, oh, I got to have a conversation about this. And yeah, it's, it's
Yep,
kind of fun. I don't know.
totally.
Yeah.
Yep, agreed.
All right, let's pivot a little bit. I'm trying to remember what I was going to ask you. I lost my train of thought. I was going to ask you, oh, dude, I was going to get into your whys. This is something I've been like digging into with folks lately is like your why for running. Like, obviously, you've had a few different lives in the sport. Now you're in this period where your pressure's off, you're doing your thing, you're enjoying it and having success at it. Like, how has your why kind of evolved and changed as time has gone by?
Yeah, I struggled with that for a little while, especially like the tail end of Hoka and the beginning of not Hoka. It was I don't feel like I had a very specific why, which was hard. But I feel like now I've thought about it, especially like going down the grindstone. I was just like I made it a point to think about that. Um, and it's just so special because one, I want to give back to the sport with the race directing and I work at a high school cross country camp in the summer. So I just think right now it's just like no pressure, have fun, you love it. So like my why is just do it because you love it, and it has so many good translations into real life. Like everything, like especially like the problem solving that comes with trail running, the discipline, the being patient, like everything that you go through in training, I feel like helps you become a better person in real life. At least that's the way I look at it. So like my why is just like make it's gonna make you a better person. It's gonna make you a better husband, a better employee. And I just think that it has such big translations from from running to real life. So I do it because I love it, really.
That's the best why, dude. You do it because you
Yeah.
want to self improve and you love it more than anything. And I think that's the purest way to go about things. You know, if there's anything other than that, it's like it's interesting. I talk to so many athletes, man, and so many people like lose their. You see, start to people like lose their love of it. The more
Yeah.
it becomes professionalized, and the more it
Hmm.
becomes, you know, this thing that I do for money, where it's like, oh, I have to feed my family or
Hmm.
myself, and this is like do or die, and it's like, oh, that's a lot of pressure, man. I'm
Yeah.
not.
That's exactly right. Like with and that was not like Hoka's fault at all, but like I felt like, all right, I have this opportunity, this contract, like you see the bonuses that you can get. You're like, this is like you could change, like it's not like NFL money, but you could really change your life and put yourself in a different circumstance. So I think that I really think that my why was not in the right place when I was in that position. But now it's just like no pressure, have fun, do it because you love it. And yeah, now I feel like I'm in a blessed position where I could self-fund my travel. So like now I could go to a race in Canada or Alaska or Europe, and I'm just feel like very fortunate that I don't have to have the pressure and still be able to do that stuff.
I love it. What what's it? So you've done so many races, man. You've raced all over the world. Like you just came back. You just did Mount Marathon. You've done what's that badass race in Cranmore? Meet the Minotaur. Like you've done some great
Hmm.
races. What's a bucket list? What's one you haven't hit yet that's like high on the list?
Oh, that I haven't done yet. Oh my gosh, if anybody hasn't done Meet the Minotaur, that one is wild. I definitely recommend that one. But since I since like 2018, I've wanted to do Transvolcania. Like in such a like so every year I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to do it. It's such a cool race. It seems um like when Hayden Hawks did it, I forget what year he did it.
It's a
It was either
while ago.
20
It's probably 2017, 2016, 17, something like that.
something like that. We had a
Yeah.
conversation after he did it, and he said how amazing it was, and so that is one that I really, really want to do, just as a bucket list. And this is cliche, and I know I said I love 25Ks and 50Ks, but like Western states would be such a bucket list one just to do. Again, not to like win or whatever, just because like it's so prestigious and just I feel like it would be so amazing. But yeah, those two are on my list.
Dude, Transvolcania looks dope. That and Trans Gran Canaria looks
Mhm.
dope too. Like any of those
Mhm.
Canary Islands or any of those like volcanic islands look so cool to go run around in.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
And
high on the list.
and really like any of the Skyrunner series, like they are I feel like that's one of the best series out there. It's amazing, like those courses. I had the opportunity this year to go on the series. I didn't end up taking the opportunity, but like all of those races, they do such a good job. They pick like these insanely like you can go with the smallest villages in the Andes Mountains to any of the big stuff in Europe, but and Mexico, like they have such cool races just all over the world now. So any of those skyrunning series races are just insane.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I was gonna ask you like as far as like what's next kind of stuff outside of maybe OCC, CCC, or Javelina stuff. That's something that would be cool to see you doing, is like more on the Skyrunner series and kind of playing around. Because I don't know, I just feel like the technicality of the Northeast is a good place to get ready for races like that. Like you actually can train, and I think that there could be some good crossover there.
Agreed. Yeah. I always try to do one I try to do one skyrunning series race a year on the series, and this year I was going to do one in oh my in Europe, but instead after I got into Mount Marathon, I decided to go there instead.
Yep.
So next year, I'd love to go back and do a Skyrunner series plus OCC. Um, like Sky Race, I'm going to say this wrong. Sky Race de Matheson's.
Yeah, Massey, Dave Massey. I think it's Dave Massey. I can't. I got to work on my French. It's
Yep.
dude, that is such a sick race.
Yeah.
Michelino's run it. He's told me all about it. Like I've had quite a few friends run that race, and I'm just like, oh,
Mhm.
dude, I got to get in there one of these years. It looks so much fun.
You totally should. I did it in 2019 and it was a snow year and it was just like it was insane. Like I forget the numbers, but like 6,000 foot up, 6,000 foot down, and it's just like village to like subalpine to like straight alpine, and it's just like, and that was where I realized that European races they don't really take the switchbacks; they just go right down them.
That's
So
true.
that's where I got to do my testing on that.
Yeah, it's more of a guidance. It's more of guidelines than it is actual rules for them. The
Yep,
whole the downhills. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious.
yeah, I love it because one came flying by me like I was going straight, and they went perpendicular to me, and I'm like, what the heck is happening? And then I realized that you could just go straight down, that you didn't have to take the trail.
I find that thought process so funny because like you're not the only American that said that to me. It's like when they're Benjamin Townsend, I had on the podcast a bazillion times, and he said the same thing to me after the race. He's like, it didn't really click with me when they started cutting switchbacks, so you could just do that. He's like, oh, like okay, it's just kind of funny.
Yep,
Uh,
I love it. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'd love to do a Skyrunner series and then a OCC next year.
Sweet, sweet. I love to hear it, man. Let's pivot really quick on some ending questions. I got to ask you because I've been really big on asking folks this, like, take on the sport. Like, are you excited
Mhm.
to see it professionalized so much? Are you excited? Like, do you think we're going to be an Olympic sport? Like, what do you want to see out of the sport in the next 5 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I personally like the professionalization of it. It's so hard because ask me 5 years ago, and I think that Olympics would have been my answer. But uh, I just after talking to people about what that Olympic look would be, I don't know if I would love it as much because I don't think that it's like I don't think it would be like the world champs that just happened. I think that it would have to be visually appealing like it did like how it went for mountain biking, how it kind of changed, and with rock climbing, like it's so specific to the Olympics visually, um, that I kind of like the setup we have now with UTMB as that championship and the world champs every 2 years. Like I think that's super cool the way it's set up now. But I personally like the professionalization of it. Um, People are making a living off of it now. The brands are innovating in the space. They're putting money into it, as you can see now with Nike. They just last year got a new CEO where now they're kind of going more into the space. How they just did the coverage for Free Trail for Worlds. I think that that is going to be a cool thing to follow going forward, with how big of an R&D program they have. Um, but I think competition is good for the brands to have. So I'm excited to see what happens in the next 5 years, and I'm personally excited about where it's going. Because it is, I mean, it's still broken up. You have Golden Trail, you have Skyrunner, you have UTMB and World Champs. So there's definitely a lot of splinters, but I think that our sport is that. I think that there's so many different disciplines that it's nice to have the ability to pick what you're good at.
Yeah. I love it too. It's interesting. Like like I'm obviously a giant fan of the Cirque series. Like I feel like that is the premier. If you want to race mountain classics, that's the way to race mountain classics in North America. I think we need like a world final for mountain classics. Like I think like ETC could be it. Like that would be sweet on the like for the UTMB. And then for your 20Ks, or I mean 50Ks already OCC. We need something for the 20K. Maybe that's the Golden Trail World Series final or something like that. Like there's plenty of opportunities for like I don't know, finals and stuff like that. And then on every other year we get the world championships, which makes it pretty cool. What did you think of Worlds this year? Any takeaways, anything that like stuck out to you other than just like Stoke?
Yeah, that's a good question. I thought the area is super cool. I raced in the Pyrenees before at a sky race event, and it's such a cool mountain range. I wasn't in that specific area, but it looked so pretty out there. I loved that they had like I feel like that's what a world I feel like that's what Trail Worlds like that's the venue we should have
Yeah.
because people are saying it was super steep, technical, off trail. Like I love that stuff. I think that kind of is a good grounds for our sport to have a world final on. I feel like if you have it on something super smooth, super flowy, I think that wouldn't be a good equalizer for the sport. So I love the venue that they had it at.
Yeah.
And the results were really interesting. Like each distance, I feel like um, different countries kind of showed their strengths. So it was really cool to see. I think this year was interesting with UTMB being so close. So I think in 2 years, with it being a couple weeks after, it will be really the results might be shaken up a bit from this year, because people that do race at UTMB finals might do a little bit be more fresh for it. But this year was so fun to follow. I was so pumped to see Jim and Katie both win the long trail and um, all the U.S. teams I thought they had such a good representation this year. All the athletes were so impressive.
Yeah. It's crazy how strong the Americans have gotten. Like we're for sure a force, like as far as like worldwide goes now. Like the mountain climbing teams did amazing. The vertical teams did amazing. The and the interesting thing to your point on with UTMB and long trail too is like I wonder how different it would look because I think next time around in 2027 it'll be in November. So that's good. I mean, like maybe we get Tom and John Albin and like Ben Demon and folks like that and Ruth Croft for New Zealand. Like I would have liked for the long trail to see more of that representation, but it's hard. I mean, it's like damn near impossible to turn around a race like that. Like you could see the guys like Eli and David Sinclair for sure were wearing CCC in their legs, like so
Definitely.
which is a bummer, but yeah.
Yeah. How did you enjoy covering it? I know you did a lot of coverage with athletes and stuff. What was your perspective?
It's fun. Honestly like nothing. It's just a blast. Like the predictions were hard. It was interesting to make the predictions because as an athlete in the sport and as someone that knows all these athletes now, like a lot of them become your friends. So it's like it's really difficult for me to like remove, oh, well, I love Cam Smith. He's one of my favorite people in the world. How do I not pick Cam Smith or Joe Gray or, it's or Michelino? Like, it's very difficult for me to remove that bias, if you will. Because I had like Robert Prosser. He does like free trail commentating and stuff like that. And I had him on. He's a brain. And Rob was kind enough to come on and help do the predictions. And we were looking through just the start list and stuff like that. And like, he's like, oh, dude, you got to remove you got a little bit of a bias there. I was like, I know it's so that was difficult for me. But the positive was just seeing everyone, dude, so many of these athletes, including yourself, like these athletes from a very young age want to go represent Team USA at the highest level. And then they get to go do it. Right. Like, that's the coolest thing, like hearing, their answers when it's like, well, what is it like, getting to represent the Stars and the Stripes and hearing how stoked they are to go do that. And yeah, I don't know, like that was very special. And it's been cool too, following these athletes from Sunapee, like especially Anna Gibson, Lauren Gregory, Ali Mack, like the entire Mountain Classic team. from Centipede all the way through, getting to call that race and be the commentator on that live stream. And then, as everyone's kind of evolved throughout their summers, and, like you see Mason, who's had like an Olympic level season, which is crazy. All these athletes. So yeah, it's been cool. And so
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's so fun to follow, especially like there's so many variables in the sport, like that you could pick the best, you could have the best lineup on your free trail fantasy, but like there's so many variables that people have a good day or a bad day. And like the shorter courses, like the classic was so fun to follow because like that distance, I feel like it's very conducive for like a and not like a no-name person to have such a good day.
yeah.
That nobody was expecting it. So like I just love the variability and pop-ups that happen, especially at a world champs.
One of the interesting things too, I was thinking about with worlds is a lot of the athletes you see doing like really, really well, like your Needle Anglehards of the world and a few others. Like some of these athletes don't have like giant sponsorships or like aren't racing like the highest end races. They're just really, really good and just either haven't been discovered or have been and just don't have those opportunities. It's really interesting. Like that was one of the points that I had like written down to like put across in an episode at some point, that it's like, just because we have a big name, for instance, like on a team on the sport, like some people still get beat, and like there's a lot of other people out there that are really good,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and as the sport grows, I think it'll be really cool that new people will be into it and give some surprising performances.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, Ben, I think this is a good good place to bookend it, dude. It was so nice getting to meet you and have you on the podcast, man. I hope our paths cross in the Northeast this upcoming summer. Hopefully we'll get to either throw down at a race together or definitely meet. So hopefully we get out for a run.
Yeah, come out to Miller or come out if you do the Cirque Series races, let me know. That would be cool to meet up.
Yeah, let's do it, dude. Appreciate it. Dude,
Cool.
Thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I'm such a fan, and thanks again for coming on.
Thank you very much, very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Big shout out to Ben for coming on the podcast. Want to thank him so much. What'd you guys think? Hope you enjoyed the episode. Guys, the best way you can support Ben is to give him a follow on Instagram or race one of his races. I'm going to link some of his races in the show notes. So if you guys happen to find yourself in Pennsylvania or are interested in a trail race in the Northeast, you could definitely go check out his races, as well as you can follow him on Instagram. And that's just going to be at Ben_Robinson88. That's Robin, ROBINSON 88. Give him a follow. Let him know what you guys thought about the episode. I'm sure he'd really appreciate any feedback on the episode and words of encouragement, especially as he takes on Javelina in a few weeks, which is it's a really long race. It's definitely not short trail. Yeah, guys, I really appreciate you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode or if you've been enjoying the podcast in general, give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you consume podcasts. And very last but not least, if you're also interested in supporting the podcast, you can do that by supporting our brand partner, Ultimate Direction. If you guys are in the market for a new vest or belt, you can head on over to ultimatedirection.com. They just dropped a few new product lineups, including a 6-liter race vest, a 12-liter ultra vest, as well as comfort belts and race belts, along with a new quiver that's compatible on a lot of different types of vests. So definitely give all of those a check out. And if you happen to find something you like, use code SteepStuffPod. Again, that's one word, SteepStuffPod, at checkout for 25% off your cart. Guys, all kinds of good stuff coming down the pipeline. I've got an episode with David Hedges dropping, as well as one with Kyle Richardson. So all good stuff coming out pretty soon. So stay tuned in, and thanks for following along.